So this is my bike ride. Usually do this 3-4 times a week. Going to be a bit of a short one today because I cycled yesterday and the day before. So it's just basically to test out the gear and see if it's all working. I'll do a proper one tomorrow or Thursday perhaps. Okay. So we're off down Commercial Road. Building on the right, it's a couple of shops but no cafe. Building on the right is the murder place. It's where a male escort murdered his transsexual girlfriend and chopped her up and cooked her. The police were called because of dodgy smell. And basically the guy did a runner out the back past my apartment block and then slit his throat in basically a big wheelie bin and was dead by the time the police found him, I think. So that was an interesting little thing. Coroner's report just came out. So this is Teneriffe. Up ahead is Teneriffe ferry and the bus terminal. This is where I live. On the right hand side you can see warehouses. There's like a lot of old warehouses here that were converted into apartments. Okay, we're off. So it's quite a pretty little road this. I like the overhanging trees, they make it look quite nice, especially at night when all the trees are lit up. So on the right hand side we've got a bunch of cafes and bars and stuff like that. Most of them are really nice. I think there's only one of them I don't really go to, and that's the London bar. Also along here once a year there's the Teneriffe Festival. So they kind of block this road off and put a stage up. Lots of food stalls. It's good fun. Dalgety House on the right. That's another nice little bar and probably one of my favourites. So we kind of left Teneriffe now and are heading into New Farm. You can see more of those warehouse conversions on the right hand side. On the left hand side, these houses that you can see here, on the actually other side of them, they overlook is the river, so they overlook the river. There'll be more in a second. They overlook the river. I'll show you them from the other side as well, but they overlook the river, and I think most of them have a small pool as well, but not really kind of a garden, a patio with a small pool. I think they're about, I think they go for about 5 million each, dollars, Australian dollars. Whenever I mention dollars, it's going to be Australian dollars. See what kind of cars we can see today as well. Like yesterday, saw a couple of Bentley Continentals, Ferrari or two. No Lamborghinis though. But I'll try and show you where the Lamborghini garage is, but there wasn't any yesterday. Usually see a few of them around. So we've got to think of, so we're heading basically around the river, and the river, this first bit is kind of like a horseshoe, a U-shaped. So imagine we're crossing the top of the U at the moment. That's basically where we are. So we're going from one side of the U to the other. So this area coming up is Merthyr Village. It's actually my local supermarket, my local Coles. There's a couple other things, banks and bakery and a few cafes, post office. Yeah, basically it's where I usually come to do my weekly shop or twice weekly shop. So what we're going to do on this bike ride is, obviously you've seen we've been in Teneriffe, coming down to New Farm, go around New Farm, back up through Teneriffe, and then we're going to head over to, we're going to go to, so I'm doing this up through New Farm, then we're going to go see the Story Bridge, come back again, go around to New Farm Park, through New Farm, then Teneriffe. Then we'll go to Hamilton. I happen to know that a cruise ship is in today, so we'll be able to see one of the cruise ships in, and then we'll go all up to Hamilton North Shore along the river. Okay, so this is my notorious roundabout. This is where I was knocked off my bike. It was, so on the left, car came from the left about here and completely T-boned me. Luckily it wasn't too bad, I wasn't unconscious, no head injuries. I did go up the bonnet, hit the windscreen and fall back down again, but I didn't crack the windscreen or anything, so and yeah, like I said, I didn't lose consciousness, but I did damage my leg and almost had to have surgery, but luckily managed to get away with it, and was on crutches for what, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that, but all's good now. So, this is the New Farm River Walk. So this will take us up to towards the CBD. We won't actually go into the CBD because it's a nightmare cycling around there. But this is quite a nice little cycle route. Just this river. It's just basically a walkway over the river. So you can probably see over to the left, that's the CBD, Story Bridge is in front of it. And we'll be cycling right under, basically going under the Story Bridge a little bit, then turning around, just coming back here. See all the apartments on the right, I don't know, I'm not entirely sure how much they go for, but it must be over $1 million, because it's got some excellent views of not only the river, you got the Story Bridge and the CBD. So expect that cost a lot of money. So this river walk was actually during the floods in 2011. It actually was, most of it was washed away. They had to rebuild it afterwards. But I'm glad they did. It's a nice way to get into the CBD, to cycle into the CBD if I ever need to. But yeah, there you go, Story Bridge right in front of you. You can actually climb the Story Bridge like the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Never done it myself. But it's supposed to be quite nice at sunset. But I did the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and it probably will be a little bit disappointing after that, to be honest. But I have taken a helicopter over Brisbane before. That was nice. So I got some excellent photos of the CBD with that. So this area here we're coming into is actually it's these old warehouses, and just by the cliffs, and essentially every single year there's something coming out that they're going to refurbish them. Ever since I've been here, so what, 8 years, 9 years. But it looks like they actually might be doing something at the moment. I actually saw some builders working on it. So it's going to be called Howard Smith Wharfs. You can see on the fences they put bits and pieces up saying it's going to be a hotel, bars, restaurants, etc. Be good actually, so it's a great little spot. Oh. So yeah, we're going underneath the Story Bridge at the moment. As you can probably hear, they're doing a bit of work on it. Okay. Now if I took a left here, that would take me down to the riverfront and all the river bars and stuff like that, but we're not getting down. There's too many people, it's too much of a pain in the ass. So just going to do a quick UE and go back around the other direction. So yeah, just coming through the wharf again. But it's nice though, it's quite popular this one. It's actually Tuesday, it's coming up to midday Tuesday. And you see it's actually pretty busy. It's for cyclists and runners on the weekend. It gets you have to see tons of people coming along here. So I think today I'm going to do about 30 Ks. I usually go up around 45, but a lot of the route is repetitive, so I don't want to show you guys things more than once, although I'm doing it at the moment, but I'll do 30 Ks, and like I said, I did 45 yesterday and I did 40 the day before, so a bit of a easy ride for me today. So I'll show you something called a city cap, or what a city K is. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. So that's a city cap. That's basically the ferry that goes up and down the river, all the way up to North Shore Hamilton, which is where we are going. You can use your what's called a Go card, which is like the London Oyster card, or you can pay by cash. But yeah, it's quite a pleasant little way. It's not the quickest way, but it's quite pleasant. So on the right hand side, that's actually Kangaroo Point. Almost all over there is all apartment blocks. It's not very many individual houses. But what it does have is it's got the what's called the Storybridge Hotel, which is kind of semi-famous because every year on Australia Day they do cockroach races. I have been there one Australia Day, but I was there in about 5-6 p.m. and it all finished by then. But even then, it was like amazingly busy. So very popular if you want to go there and watch that. But yeah, it might be worth it. I don't know. Have a look on YouTube. And coming back round again. Good old Brisbane City Council. Why bother with a wheel? Park sensibly and bring a wheelbarrow when you can just bring a whole fucking truck down here and block the route. Okay, so this is where you came down, so this bit's going to be new for you. I'm going to take a right down here. So on the right hand side it's primarily apartments. I suppose they probably used to be houses. There's one house there you can see. But because it's on the river, it's obviously better off knocking the houses down and putting up big apartment blocks like that really ugly one in front of me. So the typical style of houses you get around here is the Queenslander, which is on the left. So when they're actually first built, before the days of air conditioning, they actually built them on stilts. And the reason behind that is that the air went underneath the house as well as over it, and hence cooled it down. In the days now we've got air conditioning, obviously that's not so important, so what people do is they generally, the floor below, like underneath the house, is not quite tall enough to be a proper floor, so what people do is they raise the top part and then they build another floor underneath. And what I'll do is I'll going to go past a couple of houses later where this is actually taking is actually doing that at the moment, so you can have a look at that and see for yourself what I mean. Lovely roadworks. So I'm going to head up onto the I'll head up onto the pavement like he just asked me to. Thanks, mate. Don't know exactly why they're resurfacing this road. It wasn't that bad to begin with, but oh well. Actually, it wasn't bad at all. So the bikes you can see on the, this is Merthyr Bowls Club on the right, probably just about see it. Great place to do barefoot bowling. And they have tables that look directly over the river as well, so you can have a beer. Especially on a hot day, it's an amazing breeze that comes through. So you can see you get some pretty expensive houses on the right hand side again here. This one on the left, the white one, actually you probably won't be able to see it. I don't want to stop, but so I'll just go on the pavement. Pavement, yeah. It's actually got a glass lift on the side. They just refurbished it. So this is New Farm Park. So we do a little circuit of New Farm Park. It's an extremely popular park on the weekends. So you think it's busy now, on the weekend it's unbelievable. People do sports, like on the far field. I'll show you in a second, but they come and chill out in the park, have picnics. People playing games in the far field. There's a few of them you can see. I can see here actually playing something. Not only that, there's like tennis courts, kiddies play area, and then there's actually a market as well. So it does get a bit ridiculous on Saturday. It's just jammed. So this is all busy and all these cars. This is what it's like on the weekend, like all around the park, and absolutely zero spaces. But this area is busy because it's the children's car park, children's playground. So we're coming up to now. I'm going to be taking a left in a second. So I'll take a left up here, and we're at basically the bottom of New Farm Park now. So on the left is where they do outdoor cinema during the summer, and on the right hand side you can see the powerhouse, which is kind of like an arts centre. So it used to be obviously a power centre, coal-fired power centre, I think. And you can see the things being advertised, and Brisbane comedy festivals here, and there's a restaurant, a couple of bars. Very cool little area, very nice. So we're up on the horseshoe now, going towards Teneriffe again. A dog park on the left, so that the dogs don't. It's the only place where they're allowed to run off the leads. Although, tell people around here and they wouldn't know that. I've actually been along here a bit further up and I've run over a dog, but what am I supposed to do? The dog wasn't on a lead; it ran in front of me. Luckily, it was okay. So you got a nice place here. You got like the apartments with infinity pools. I think there's. That one here is one bit further down. Got here on the left more of the converted warehouses. And another infinity pool. So I actually really do like the converted warehouses. Most of them are old wool stores, but to me there's one major problem with them, in that the vast majority of them don't have balconies. So when you got a glorious day like today, and you don't actually have a balcony to sit on. Now most of them do have gardens, but yeah, it's just a bit nicer to just chill out on your own balcony, like the ones on the left here. So I mentioned those $5 million houses. Saw them at the back of them, and then this is basically the front of them. So yeah, most of them have little pools, like multiple balconies, and like I said, about $5 million a pop. Got some flags flying up on the right here. That's to commemorate this area was actually a multinational submarine base during World War II. I didn't mention them, but we're going to come past here later. But they've actually got benches, which are the shape of submarines, and each of the submarine class names are on them. I'll show you a little bit later. So coming up to 10 kilometers on this one. So yeah, see how we go. So coming up on the right hand side just here, obviously it's the river. But I mentioned the Teneriffe festival earlier. So what they actually do is they build a stage on the river for one day, and they have bands playing, and everyone just sits around on the left on the grass and watches these bands. So I mentioned this city cat. So just in front of you is one of the city cat terminals. That's the Teneriffe city cat terminal. So Teneriffe is where I live. So basically done a full loop, almost 10 kilometers exactly. So this is the area you saw at the very start. That bus stop on the right hand side you just saw. Most people don't know this, but it's actually an old World War II shelter that was built for the submarine base, and rather than knock it down, they just converted it to a bus stop. Well, they must have ripped some of it down and then converted a chunk of it to a bus stop. Probably the world's most sturdiest bus stop, to be honest. So up on the left, those tall buildings, they're actually fairly new, only just been built. Most of them I can see are still empty. So it's basically 2 towers that are completed, and I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 more towers that they're building. The space in front of us where those fences are, they're also going to be building now. I like the apartments on the right here, because one side you got the river, the other side you got a lake and parklands. It's just really nice, but very expensive home for a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment. and you're looking at 2.5 million, something like that. They're quite expensive. Okay, so we're back along the river again. So we're at the top of the horseshoe on the right hand side, and we're basically going to follow it round all the way to Hamilton. Now, you used to be able to go along the river, along a path. You can no longer do that. The road that you go along, Kingsford Smith, is actually, probably won't look it today, but it's actually amazingly busy. So they're actually widening it, and as part of that they've ripped away the footpath, so I have to go on the other side. Hopefully when it's completed, which will be about 20 years, no, only kidding, I think it's about 3 years, 4 years, they'll actually have a separate path for cyclists and pedestrians, which will be brilliant, so I don't have to go anywhere near that road. You'll see when I cycle along it, I don't actually cycle along the road itself, because there are some big trucks that go down there, and it's not exactly the widest road, so I'll go along the paths. So what we're coming into now is Newstead Park. So Newstead Park contains Newstead House, which is one of the oldest houses in Brisbane, but it's also got this amazing nice little park. Yeah, lots of weddings, picnics along here as well. It's not as big as New Farm Park, nowhere near as big as New Farm Park, but it's a nice little park with some great little views. So you probably saw Newstead House a little bit on the left before, but we're going to be coming through here again, so we'll have a better view of it a little bit later. So just on our right there, that little river, it's actually called Breakfast Creek, and famously it's got the Breakfast Creek Hotel on it, which we'll go and have a quick look at. So it's just on the left here, but we'll go and have a proper look at it. It's one of the most famous pubs in Brisbane. Breakfast Creek's notorious for flooding. Like, it flooded really badly in 2011, and they had a really bad flood in '74, which was before they had the dam, and they actually mark on the wall how high it went. So it's well over 8 foot, like on the wall, 8 foot where you're standing, that the '74 flood hit. So yeah, we'll take a quick look at Brecky Creek. And that's it. It's the Brecky Creek Hotel. Interesting, they actually do a really, I think it's the only pub in Queensland, possibly even Australia, that does wood beer in wooden caskets, barrels. They do other places, but it's the only one that consistently has it. So if you're ever in there, you can only get it at one of the bars. Just ask for beer off the wood. They'll point you towards the right bar, but it's actually a type of 4X. and I generally hate 4X. So for example 4X Gold, but that 4X is actually pretty nice. So probably actually spotted there's a cruise ship in town today, so we'll be going up right next to that. So this is the bit where you used to be able to cycle along the river. Can't anymore. So I'll actually be switching to the other side of the road. Unfortunately, this is these traffic lights, unless I'm a bit lucky, take an absolute age to change. But I have a feeling I might be a little bit lucky, but so there's a bunch of cars waiting on the other side, so usually when there's a load of them, I don't have to wait that long. God, it's hotter than I thought it would be today. Guessing it's about, what, 26? Nope, still having to wait. 26 degrees, 27 maybe? Whew. Definitely hotter than I expected to be. Hotter than yesterday. Here we go. Let's go techno. So I generally just cycle a little bit along the road. Oh, so look at those drive safely sign up ahead of me. There we go. Yeah. So what that actually does, it's like an unofficial speed camera. So it just tells you what speed you're going. If you're a good boy, you get a smiley face. And if you're a bad boy, it just says slow down. Yeah, see, typically when I say this road is full of trucks and heavy vehicles, there's nothing on the road. So yeah, so there you go, bus. And yeah. Fuck me. Yep, sea of mine. I swear it is absolutely typical. There is no heavy lorries coming down here. Oh, there's little smaller lorries. Yeah, there we go. That's a bit better. As soon as I say it, then the big ones start coming. Man, this would be a noisy place to live, man. The ones on the left along here, that'd be so noisy. So you can probably see the cruise ship pretty clearly now. I happen to know that is the Pacific Dawn. It's actually based in Brisbane. Its home port is Brisbane. Pacific Dawn and Pacific Area, both home ported in Brisbane. And I have actually been on the Pacific Dawn. I was on there for 2 nights for a rock and roll cruise. So that was my first ever cruise, to be honest, and wow, yeah. It was an Australian band called Daddy Cool. It was the headliner. Yep, it was interesting. Don't think I'd go on another one though. Maybe a different band, but yeah, it's very 60s. Anyway, these traffic lights take forever, so we're going to be here a little while. So I'll tell you a bit about Hamilton, which is all this up here. So when I actually moved here, none of those apartment blocks were there. They kind of popped up and still are popping up, still building quite a few of them. It's actually pretty nice. There's a fair few restaurants and bars, but the bad thing about it is there's not much public transport. You got the city cat, the ferry. There's no trains, and I think there's very few buses. The road off to my left, it's actually Racecourse Road, and can you have a guess what that leads to? Yeah, Racecourse. I think it's in Doomben. I don't know. I've only ever been to that Racecourse once. Right, won't take long to change now. Come on, you know you want to change. Going. There we go. And then we just get to the other side. And then we gotta wait ages again. So yeah, Hamilton's a nice place, but it's quite expensive for what you get, and there's just no transport. So all the people who live here, it's like they work in the CBD. It's like they must have a car park space or something, because you can catch a city cab, but it takes too long. Probably a nice way. It is a nice way to get to work though, and at least you probably haven't got traffic jams or anything like that. But yeah, it takes too long, especially up around this area here. They're only allowed to go like 5 knots. 5 knots because of all the building work. I think they usually go about 30. And we're off. Anyway, enough mumbling. Let's go back on the bunk. So there's Brett's Wharf, so that's where you'd catch your city cat. And there's the big old Pacific Dawn. Pacific Dawn is actually just been refurbished. I think it was about a month ago. It's actually quite a decent boat. It's fairly cheap as well. It's not, I'd classify it like a 3-star boat. So actually when I was on the Pacific Dawn, we had a helicopter winch. So someone came in, got ill, and a helicopter came and winched him off. So you actually see that's new, the slide up on the top right. So yeah, I've had 2 cruises. The first one on Pacific Dawn was someone's helicopter winched off, and the second one on Sun Princess was man overboard. Luckily they recovered the person, the lady. So yeah, both occasions, and I did hear the guy on the Pacific Dawn was actually okay, so both occasions ended up happy ending. So this is Portside Hamilton. Bars, restaurants, all fairly expensive stuff. Okay. So like I said, I think there's always building work going on. It's non-stop around here. Oh, for fuck's sake, let's go. Shouldn't really swear because, oh well. No one's really going to see this. So, just on the right hand side, barely see it, I don't think it's there at the moment, but you have some warships. You usually have some warships, well not usually, but occasionally have some warships. But especially lately for some reason, it's like, not yesterday, the day before, there was a frigate, and then a couple of days before that was big Chinese destroyer. So yeah, I get occasional warships coming here as well. Probably the best thing I've ever seen. I've only ever seen it once. It wasn't on this side of the river, it was on the other side, but it was an American nuclear powered submarine. I think it wasn't like it was an attack submarine, it wasn't a ballistic missile submarine. So just on the left is Grays Online. Grays Online's like an online auction site. You can like pick anything up there, from like industrial bulldozers, like massive bulldozers, and mine equipment, to ex-military Land Rovers, to well, I bought from there 2 HD computer monitors to make us $25 each, and a bunch of Xbox 360 games, which I can't remember. I think I paid like $2.50 per game. So it's a little more of an industrial area around here. There's like airport parking, and you may have just seen on the left hand side there's like building cranes all stacked up. But on the right hand side, I've actually got something called Eat Street Markets. So I might go and have a look at that. So you see all those multicoloured containers? That's Eat Street Markets. So basically all those containers have been converted into food places, bars, little shops, like boutique shops. Actually, let's go and have a look at it. So I actually haven't had a look at it yet either. Don't even know if we can get in. Nah, it looks all blocked off. Anyway, that's Eat Street Markets. Yeah, I've been there once. I actually had a cronut there, that was one hell of a sugar buzz. So a croissant donut. Anyway, yeah, they have like live bands, etc. So yeah, on a Friday and Saturday, it's quite a nice little place to go. It actually was further down the road, but they moved it all up here. I think there's a lot better parking now. There's loads more parking than there was before. So what we're coming up to now is basically North Shore Hamilton, or Hamilton Reach. It's got kind of got two names. Again, they're doing loads of building. Again, this wasn't here when I first came to Brisbane. This was all nothingness. Again, transport up here is terrible. There's actually nothing much up here, so you just see in front of me the blue sign. That's the ferry terminal. This copper coloured building is it's a cafe, and that's about the only shop around here. So it's actually, yeah, it's a really nice cafe actually. And then we got the beach. So obviously, well, you can't swim in the river. Not because it's dirty or anything. It's just, I think it's just a bit too dangerous. Currents are too fast. Lots of picnic areas around here. They actually have public use barbecues, which is fantastic. It's amazing, like everyone, they're clean when you arrive and then everyone leaves them like clean. Love these houses up on the left as well. So they got little, see the glass bits? It's actually little swimming pools. I actually love those little apartments, a lot of those houses. Probably a bit of fortune though, but oh well. So I do like this area because of the architecture and everything, and the buildings and the newness of it all. But it's just nothing here. It's just, oh, I love this shelter up on just on the right hand side here. It's like, I think it's meant to be seagulls' feathers. Not the greatest shelter. They wouldn't really keep this in the rain, but yeah, up ahead you can see there's the start of a bridge. That's actually the Story Bridge. Oh, there's a magpie there for you as well. See if we can get close to him. Oh, he's about to go. He's about to go. He's thinking of it. Gone. Yeah, that's the Gateway Bridge. Actually, one of my favourite apartment blocks is coming up on the left. You can't really see it here, but it's got like a wavy front, and obviously it's got an excellent, nice view of the river. I like these ground floor ones because they're huge, huge patios. But we'll just go up here, and I'm just going to grab a little bit of water. See picnic areas, little picnic areas everywhere. On the left hand side, this is like a swampy mangrove area. You probably can't see that very well with this camera, but I always imagine I'd find a dead body in there, but it hasn't happened so far. Yeah, so I'll give you a little view of, there we go, while I have a drink of water. So yeah, so that apartment building there I quite like. Again, it's half empty. You can see like that bottom floor one's completely empty. And I like the waviness of it, like the front of its waves. But anyway, I think they're about $700,000 or $750,000 for a 2-bed, which I'm sorry is way too much. I'll show you a little bit later where you can pay the same price and actually get a 3-bedroom apartment. You can get a 3-bedroom apartment with a really nice view and a supermarket within like within 10 minutes walk. So yeah, as you can see up front, more apartments. There is houses around here, and I'll show you some of them in a minute. So on the right hand side here, you can see those little houses. I think they're about 1.2 million each. As you can see, they're doing more building in front. They only started that a couple of months ago. So yeah, these houses up here on the right hand side, I think they're about 1.5 million. Nice houses though, well, nice enough. But yeah, again, it's just shouts. It's too expensive for this far out of Brisbane. Well, it's not that far out of Brisbane, but it's just there's just no transport up here. One cafe and that's it. There are some offices up around here. So on the right you've got Puma Energy, which is like a independent petrol stations. Yeah, it's Fujitsu and a couple others. So you can see I actually love these roads though, because they give like a big, long, wide part to there's the cycle lane, which I'm in now. If only all Brisbane roads were like this. So yeah, on the left and right, it looks like they're going to be offices and, what did it say, office space, commercial and then technical areas. Yeah, whatever that means. So you can see I'm coming back, so I kind of done a loop on myself. So we're back to the Grayson line. So let's take a left here. And if you look on the left hand side, just kind of beyond the trees a little bit, you can see the big building cranes that are all stacked up, and some little cranes as well. So I love this, these warehouses here. In front of me. They used to be like really boring grey. Actually coloured them up nicely. It says North Shore on it in case you didn't catch it. Okay, let's carry on. So we're kind of looping back on ourselves now. So So we're going to be repeating some of the roads I did before, just in reverse. I'll try and think of some other things to talk about. I still don't know for the life of me what they're doing here with these roads though. Oh, it's Pacific Dawn again. It's actually my favourite on those back decks. It's favourite place to chill out. It's the adult bar, so no kids allowed. So actually just on the left here is where the Eat Street Market's the one I showed you with the coloured containers. That's where it was based before. But obviously they're building something. And then just on the left here is where you, when you're a cruise ship passenger, it's where you go in for your passport checks and shit like that. On the right hand side is Sammy's Seafood. It's like a fishmongers obviously. You come here go there on New Year's Eve, and it's absolutely mental there. So everyone's getting their fresh seafood for not New Christmas Eve. Everyone's getting their seafood for Christmas Day. So like I said, lots of restaurants and burger places, but posh burger places. And it's all pretty expensive around here. So you can see the Pacific Dawn right in front of us. Up at the people up at the top are the people who are getting on the Pacific Dawn. So yeah, packed door. Gotta try and get myself on one of those before I fuck off out of Brisbane. Ah, curry house. So just to let you know, we're coming up to 20 kilometres. So I think I said I was going to do 20 earlier, but it's probably going to be at 30. Pacific Dawn. It's interesting, all the apartments on the right. When the cruise ships come in, obviously on all the decks you can look over at the apartments. Considering there's probably like 3 cruise ships a week, I'd just find that amazingly annoying. And actually when I came in on Sun Princess, like literally just right in front of us with 2 people having breakfast on their balcony, and it was like everyone was waiting to get off of the boat. And there must have been about 150, 200 people watching them eat their breakfast. It's like, yeah, slightly uncomfortable. Museum. Right. Actually, just on the right, that little container, they actually had a exhibition about how it's Kingsford Smith Road's going to look like. It's a nice blue sky today. Actually, it's a pretty typical day of Brisbane. It's actually, yeah, it's not too hot, not too cold. You can wear shorts and flip-flops all day. Okay, we're off. So, just coming up on the right, you might be able to see, at least a sign for it, is Dan Murphy's. So, oh yeah, what are you going to do, mate? Dan Murphy's is actually what in Australia is a bottle shop. What would you call it everywhere else? Oh, America is liquor store off license in the UK. But it's a big like warehouse thing. Now, one of the unusual things about Queensland is they cannot sell alcohol anywhere. Like in corner shops, 7-Elevens, even supermarkets. Supermarkets are not allowed to sell any alcohol. So the only place you can actually buy alcohol are those like bottle stores. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if that changes moderately soon. So it's a pretty dumb idea. At least let you sell like wine and beer in supermarkets, and then leave the hard liquor for like gin and vodka for stores like that. But anyway, yeah. So interesting. So you have to go to those stores, bottle shops. But amazingly here, you actually have drive-in bottle shops or off licenses. So like your drive-through McDonald's, you literally pull up. You ask you say what you want, like crate of beer or a slab of beer, and then they chuck it in your boot for you. You give them your card, pay for it, and off you go without even getting out of your car. To be honest though, you are seeing them less and less, but when I was in Tasmania in Launceston, they actually had a 6-lane drive-through bottle shop. So 6 lanes of cars where you could wait. Unbelievable. Talking of drink driving here, it's something you don't do. Well, you shouldn't do it anywhere, but here they have stuff called RBTs, random breath tests, where they don't have to stop you for just for driving like erratically, like they generally do in the UK, for example. They basically just stop everybody, and everybody has to give a breath test. I have been stopped in 9 years. I've been stopped 3 times on an RBT. Obviously I was fine every time. I don't do the drink and driving, but I know friends who have been caught that way. But I think it's a good idea. I especially like if you go through, if you get caught. So as a full licensed driver, you're allowed to have like a 0.05, I think it is. If you're a P-plater, which means you've passed your test in the last 2 years, You're not allowed to have any alcohol in your system, which is perfect. Most of the road rules in Australia are pretty sensible. What's the one I think is a little bit annoying? Oh yeah, so one that's a little bit silly is if you get points on your license for whatever reason, if you get caught on a public holiday weekend, you get double everything. So it's double the cost and double the points, which is a little bit excessive, to be honest. Everything else is fairly sensible. Australian car drivers and cyclists. Actually, that's an interesting one. They are car drivers are generally shit towards cyclists here. They really don't care. It's not like the UK, or even they're even better in Italy. Like places like Switzerland, Germany, and Holland are excellent. UK is okay. Australia's terrible. They just don't care. They actually had to bring a law in that says the minimum distance between cyclist and bike if a car is overtaking is 1.5 meters. But was it yesterday or the day before? Literally a car was like 50 centimeters from me. And I was like, whoa, what the hell? And luckily the guy was actually in a convertible. So I just shouted at him saying, he's supposed to be 1.5 meters away. Yeah, I think he was an older guy, so I think I startled him a little bit by shouting at him, but oh well, shouldn't have come so close to me, should you do? Right. So we're coming back up to Breakfast Creek and Newstead Park. Might be able to see a bit more. Well, you'll see the house part a lot in a minute. But yeah, it's a nice, pretty little spot. About that bit. Okay. So just on the right here, there's actually doing some more building work. They're actually putting in a Bunnings warehouse. So Bunnings warehouse is it's like a big DIY store. It's like the dominant one in Australia. Famous for their sausage Sundays, where local people come in and basically sell you $1 hot dogs for their local charity and stuff like that. Anyway, yeah, Bunnings warehouse. It's good to have one so close, actually. The nearest one is a 10-15 minute drive, and it's not that big. So it'd be nice to have one closer. So these apartments on the left, we actually went past them the other side. These are they're actually quite, again, they're fairly old. I say they're 25, 30 years old. But they go for usually about 1.2 million for a 2-bedroom. And then just on the other side of the road here, You've got actually got one of my favourites, like one of my favourite apartments, just on the right here by the blue BMW. They're like 3-bedroom, 2 massive patios, 2 floors, huge lounge and 2 bathrooms. Yeah, 2 patios, 1 balcony, and they're like 900,000, so like twice the size. And I think people are just paying like for that one. I think they're probably paying $500,000 for the river view. It's like, river view's nice, but really that much. Okay, so football guys, they're here every Tuesday. Every Tuesday. So again, I'll just show you quickly. These apartments I really like as well, but they're really expensive. Yeah, these ones. Really nice. But I think they're about 2 million for like a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom. It's very expensive, but very nice. So like I said, they are trying to develop loads of this, like you can see there. So the gasworks is just in front of me. You can see there's an apartment block being built there. And there's another one there. And there's one just over there. It's like all over the place here. I think there's someone said there's something like 9,000 apartments being built around Newstead, around this area. And this one on the right where the fence is, that's marked off for development. The one on the left here where you can see the chain link fences, they're actually marked off for development as well. But there's a huge problem with that one there, which I think is why they're going to leave it for a long time. Now the problem with that one, I believe, is, and you'll probably see it in 2 seconds and it'd be obvious, is this. There's a great big electricity pylon there. It goes across the river to the other electricity pylon and substation over there. So I think the big problem is that no one's going to buy a building which is right next to an electricity pylon. So my guess is they will either pay or subsidise cables under the river, and then they'll start building apartments when they've done that. Anyway, let's carry on. Those lakes would be great to bring like a radio control boat into. Might even think of getting one of those, would be quite good fun. Just a cheap one. Anyway, let's carry on. So I reckon what you're going to see, you can see again here, it's like a really nice warehouse. Queensland Cooperative, primary producers, blah blah blah. No balconies. So again, coming up to where I live again. That apartment block up there, that corner. That's the other block to the one I live in. So that's like block A and I'm in block B. Interesting enough, the one I just showed you, that's your one on the corner there. It's actually a 3-bedroom, and I actually had it on the market for 625. So that shows you, and like there's loads of transport. You can see all the buses around me, like going past them. Yeah, 625 for a really nice 3-bedroom. And a big long balcony, and it had like partial sea river views. Now it's either that, or you pay 700 for one less bedroom and with no transport. And yeah, and we've got all the cafes and everything nearby. Whoa! Yeah, so I was talking about Australian drivers earlier. Yeah, they just have no concept of cyclists. It's like cars own the road and fuck everyone else. I've been knocked off my bike. Like the amount of people who open car doors on me, like this road here especially. People just open car doors, don't even think about it. Yeah, there just hasn't been that critical mass of cyclists yet where they've got to pay attention to the cyclists being around. I did go past a Jag F-Type though, which was pretty cool, because I was like caught in a bit of traffic jam, and I did notice that on its passenger side wing mirror, it actually had a little light that flashed when I was in his blind spot, so he knew I was there. I thought that was fantastic. Every car should have that. It's like, I know they have them, but I didn't know that they worked with cyclists. So I got another drive safely up, so let's see what it says. Yay, I got a happy face. So this is the same route we had before, but I'm going to deviate slightly in a minute. So I actually wanted to show you another apartment block I actually really like. It's not perfect for transport, but I'll forgive it this one. But it just looks a really nice apartment block. So it's just up on the left here. Oh, there's a Tesla. I was thinking that I haven't seen any decent cars or interesting cars, and fucking Tesla pops up. There you go. That's the one I want to live in. Well, I wouldn't mind living in. It's called the Freshwater Apartments. So what I'll do is that's from the roadside. I'll show you it from the riverside in a second. Well, maybe 10 minutes, but what if we do our little circuit? So yeah, nice apartments around here again, right. And a lot of Queenslanders. Now, yeah, a lot of Queenslanders. Now what they tend to do is they either raise Queenslanders, like they've done on the left here, or they just knock them down entirely and build something else. Something they do, there's something they really do commonly here, knocking down houses. Most of them are wooden structures, so who cares? It's not like a brick house. So you'll see on the left, I think in a second, there's one that's being raised now. See how high it is? So they're building a floor underneath it, and then they'll drop the top half down onto the bottom half, and then you've got a 2-story house. Job done. It's actually, if you missed that one, I'll actually another one in about 2 seconds. Everyone's looking at me like I'm mad. I'm talking to myself. So yeah, I think there's one up on the left hand side in a second. Oh sorry, not left hand side, right hand side. Left hand side's a couple of restaurants. It's an okay fish and chip shop. And we're back up to New Farm Park again. Oh no, I must have missed it. Thought there was another one that we were raising, but you saw it anyway. Sort of raising a Queenslander looks like. Oh no, here it is, just on the right. Another one they're raising. So yeah, lift it up, put a floor underneath, drop it down again. On the right hand side where the 4x Bill sign is New Farm Bowls Club. So what you can do there, it's also Merthyr Bowls Club where I mentioned having a drink along the river. You pre-book it, but you can do barefoot bowling there. And yeah, it's not necessarily about the bowling, it's about the beers. But it's what it says, it's barefoot, you take your shoes off, it's barefoot bowling. So yeah, we're just going straight on here. So I just go straight on. So we're up to 26.7 kilometers. And I mentioned the horseshoe shape, so we're right at the bottom here. It's fairly low tide at the moment. Like I said, it's pretty popular to come up here and have a picnic, so what is it now? It's just gone 1 o'clock. Yeah, 1 minute past 1. So people come and have their lunch up here, and people are using the communal barbecues. So we're up at the powerhouse now. So this is where I said there's bars and restaurants. Oh, that's right. Nice little mural there, you probably just saw. Oh, I'll show you the sign as well. Everyone seems to find this very amusing, but trust me, after 20 times of reading it, or cycling past it, God knows how many times. There you go. Funny, hey? Hardy ha ha. There's the powerhouse again from them. The back end. And we're going along this waterfront again. So on my Strava, it's like I do this path all the time. Probably done it hundreds of times. And I think according to Strava, out of like 2,800 people, I think I'm about 130th fastest of all time. I can't even remember what my average speed was. I think it was like 39 kilometers an hour down here. But yeah, like infinity pools, cool, eh? That'd be a nice place to live. And then on the left hand side in a second is another infinity pool. There so showed you the freshwater apartment, so this is the riverside part of it. So there's a nice big swimming pool, barbecue areas. One thing I like is a nice big balcony. Yeah, give me one of those. I did think I saw the penthouse for, I think it's 1.3 million. So if you want to gift me, what, 600,000, it'll be all mine. Oh yeah, the submarine benches on the left. See, S-class, Gato class. I'll show you, I'll stop and show you in a minute. There's a couple more here. K-class, T-class. So yeah, there's all the flags, and it's got written down there, like Submariners Heritage Trail. And then the little submarine benches, so Collins class. Collins class is actually the current submarine. Oh, and there you go, Collins class. Done. And so they got all these plaques explaining them. I believe they've just bought French, is it Barracuda submarines? A dozen of them or something like that. Collins class was not a massively successful submarine. You see, indigenously built, designed and built. So the next one is going to be, I'm not sure exactly, but I think the first one's being built in France, and then they're going to build the rest here. And then they're going to fit it out with American technology. Oop. Okay, so I actually think in total we're going to be doing 35 kilometers today. Which is still good, I'm happy with that. It's 3 days in a row of what, 35, 45, 35. See people having a nice lunch, sitting on the grass. There's a city gate coming into Tenerife. So I'm actually allowed to take my bike on the city cat, as long as it's not rush hour. It's not a problem, I can take my bike on there. What we'll do is we'll have a quick look at that while I grab a drink. Let's go again. got the City Glider bus, which is actually the best bus to get into the CBD, because it has very few stops. Like between here and the CBD, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's actually very quick to get to the CBD. CBD is Central Business District, or the city centre. The only problem is you can't use cash on them. You have to have a Go card or e-card kind of thing, transport card. So we've been along here before. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to repeat some of the most of the circle we've done a little bit of before. Then I'm going to head up towards Fortitude Valley, but before we get there I'm going to hang a left and go down James Street, and then Doggett Street, and then back home. So like I said, this is kind of like my usual bike route. Kind of do about 10k more, but it's just going over stuff that I've already been through. It's like I do one more loop of New Farm. But yeah, it's kind of built up a little bit. It's like since January I had a bit of a lazy period, but now this month I'm not exactly, probably done about 400, no, yeah, about 400k this month so far. Yeah, so these ones on the left, so these apartments, they're nice. Like the balconies are fairly big, but they're all really kind of dated inside, and they're just really expensive for what they are. Like 1.3 million. It's just kind of not worth it to me. Anyway, that's just my opinion. At least they got a nice pool, nice big pool. So we're coming up to Newstead Park again for the third time. Tide is really low. It's probably the lowest that you can get this time on the Brisbane River. And just to give you an idea of the 2011 floods, when it was at its highest, like where I am now, was well underwater. It's like even the path that I just went along, all of that was underwater. Okay. So now we're going to do a little bit different than we did before. We're going to go up this little path over here, and at the top of this path you'll get a really nice view of Newstead House. which you can actually go and visit. I think certain days of the week it's open to the public. So, there you go. It's Newstead House. So we're up to 31 kilometres now, so another 4 kilometres and we're done. Ooh. So yeah, 700,000 also, so the ones on the right hand side here, which are the ones I also like, so overlook at the park. 700,000, get like a nice 3-bedroom with like 2 good sized balconies, and they are nice blocks. It's like they have a swimming pool and gym and things like that. So yeah, so left hand side is 1.2 million or 1.3 million, right hand side probably about 700,000, 600,000. Kind of ridiculous. Half the price just for a river view. So interesting about Newstead is, which is this area, and all those new apartments which I showed you before, is the banks actually consider it bad risk here now, this area, to buy an apartment here, because literally it's so flooded with apartments that they don't trust that the price will stay the same. They think it will go down. So the way that they're protecting themselves is that where usually it's like a minimum 10% deposit to buy an apartment, so the ones up front in front of us now, usually it's minimum 10%. They're actually asking for, I think it's either minimum 25 or 20% before they'll loan you the money, just so their own arse is covered, obviously. So coming down this road here, in the building up on the left hand side, just after this junction, that's Energex, and that's where I used to work, and hopefully I'll be working there next week as well. There's a contractor, it's a 5-month contract, and then just on the left hand side again is you'll see the Ferrari garage. See, Ferraris, lots of Ferraris. It's 2 Californias up there. So yeah, on the left here, it's the Energex building, and then there's the Ferrari building. There's a Ferrari. Ferrari. So interestingly, we got the Ferrari garage there, and then up on the right hand side, about 200 meters, you got the Maserati garage, the Bentley garage, and the Lotus garage. And then up on the left hand side, about 300 meters, got the Lamborghini garage. Unfortunately, we won't really see it because I don't go past it. Or do you want me to go past it? I'll sod it, I'll go past it. Why not? See, yet more apartments being built on the left hand side. The ones right in front are now renting. Our one's just finished. The one behind it's just finished. It's just absolutely stunning the amount of apartments that are going up in this area. But funnily enough, actually, I don't like most of them. There's another one just behind this one, which is for rent. On the right hand side is Emporium. That's actually a bunch of restaurants and takeaway places. It's good, very good actually. It's another bottle shop, BWS. Beer, wine and spirit. Original here. Seeing more apartments on the right hand side. So we'll go past the Lamborghini garage. There's a Merc garage. So you got Mercedes, BMW, Lamborghini. So you got Infinity, and there's the Lambo. There. It's a new Porsche 911 for you, 200,000. It's that AMG Merc. Yep, 89,000. It's actually not a bad deal. 2012. Audi R8 Spider. 299. Range Rover Sport. 114,000. Yeah, take your picks. So you got this, and then you got this shop that on the left that's been empty for freaking ages. You got a Volvo garage. Oh, so that building just above that Lambo. There's office buildings above there, and that's where I actually used to work as well. That's the Ergon office. So I was in there for what, 6 months, 8 months. Oh, yes. So this is James Street, which is a load of like boutiques, clothes boutiques and little restaurants, and it's even a cinema here, like an art house cinema, which I've been to a few times. That building up on the right, that's haunted apparently, the optical place, Bang & Olufsen. So this is Doggett Street. So I used to live in an apartment up on the top right here when I first moved to Brisbane. I call it Dogging Street, which I find amusing, but Australians don't really understand. So yeah, there's a couple of French English, like me. It's a furniture store. So yeah, not far from home now, 34 kilometres done. This building on the left is actually just been refurbished, and there's actually 2 cops outside because it's the new office for the 3 cops outside, new office for the Australian Federal Police. On the right hand side here is actually the biggest jewel workshop in the Southern Hemisphere, I was told. It's the head office of Wallace Bishop, which is like big jewelers in Australia. And we're back onto Commercial Road. There's another magpie. Hate those things when it's swooping season, because yeah, they're real nasty bastards. They really have a go at you and try and crash into you. But they're protected birds, so you're not allowed to harm them. But yeah, I read a story about a kid who's actually had his eye taken out. Anyway, back to Murder Block on the left, and then my block up in front. So I'll actually go up the road a little bit, turn around so you can see where I live. Obviously this is going to be in the public domain, so I won't tell you exactly which one I live in, just tell you roughly. So I'll just come up here and turn around. Maybe out there. So that white tower, I live in one of those. There's my local Ponzi cafe called Sourced Grocer, voted the best grocer in the world at some point. You're kidding me, but anyway. Yes, that's my apartment. Been in there 7 years now. But yeah, and that basically concludes the tour. Hope you enjoyed it. It didn't bore you too much. I hope they heard me because it was quite loud in places, but yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Bye.